Gentlemen, the supplement industry wants you dependent on magnesium for the rest of your life. But here's what they're not telling you. Magnesium does absolutely nothing to wake up the part of your body that controls firmness, morning erections, or bedroom stamina. I've spent 25 years treating men who swallowed magnesium religiously for months and still couldn't perform when it mattered. The truth? Your penis doesn't need magnesium at night. It needs two specific vitamins that trigger testosterone production while you sleep, and I'm about to reveal exactly which ones, how to time them, and why most men take them completely wrong. Before I reveal what actually works, let me give you something you can test tonight to prove your body still responds. Take 3000 IU of vitamin D3 with dinner tonight. Not in the morning like the bottle says, at dinner. Here's why. Your testosterone production peaks between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. while you sleep. When you take D3 at night, it's circulating in your bloodstream exactly when your body is primed to rebuild hormone balance. Within 48 hours, some men notice sharper morning wood. But here's the problem most men hit. Vitamin D3 alone won't restore full firmness because your body needs a partner nutrient to actually activate testosterone production. Without that second vitamin, you're turning the key in the ignition without fuel in the tank. I'm Dr. Mei Anderson. Over the past 25 years, I've worked with thousands of men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond who thought their erections were gone forever. I may not be a man, but I've heard the frustration in your voices, the embarrassment of avoiding intimacy, the silence with your partner, the fear that this part of life is over. I've listened to men describe what it feels like when their wives reach for them at night, and they have to make excuses. I've seen the look in their eyes when they tell me they've stopped even trying, because the disappointment is too painful. It doesn't have to be, and what I'm about to share proves it. If you want the complete protocol and the follow-up on the 3 foods that sabotage testosterone, subscribe to Vital Health Seniors right now. Thousands of men rely on this channel because I don't sugarcoat, I give you what works. I've dedicated my career to understanding male vitality, and every strategy one share comes from real clinical experience, not internet trends. But to understand why that second vitamin is non-negotiable, you need to see what's actually happening inside your body when erections weaken. Here's what's really going on. Your penis has smooth muscle tissue that acts like a sponge. It's supposed to trap blood and hold it under pressure to keep you hard. But after 60, 2 things break down. First, those muscle fibers start to thin and weaken, like a tire losing air slowly. Second, the signaling system that tells your body, produce testosterone now, gets quieter. Your brain still sends the message, but your testes don't hear it clearly anymore. This is why you wake up soft, why erections fade mid-performance, why you avoid initiating intimacy. Your body isn't broken, it's running on a weakened signal with depleted building blocks. And here's the stat most doctors won't share with you. Studies show men with low vitamin D levels have testosterone counts up to 30% lower than men with optimal levels. That gap is the difference between reliable erections and chronic disappointment. It's the difference between feeling confident when your partner gives you that look and feeling panic that you won't be able to follow through. Think of vitamin D3 as the volume knob on that signal. It locks into the same receptors in your testes that control testosterone production, turning up the message from your brain. But volume alone doesn't matter if the power switch is off. That's where the second vitamin comes in. It acts as the ignition. Without it, vitamin D3 just sits there, unused. Your body has the volume turned up but no power to actually produce the hormones you need. This is why you've been stuck. You may have tried D3 before and noticed nothing. Not because it doesn't work, but because you didn't have the activator. You were turning up the volume on a radio that wasn't even plugged in. And this isn't theory. A 2021 clinical study found that men who combined these 2 vitamins at night saw testosterone levels increase by nearly 40% within 6 weeks. More importantly, 73% of them reported stronger, more reliable erections. Not just occasional firmness that comes and goes, but the kind of reliability that lets you stop worrying and start enjoying intimacy again. Maybe you've noticed this pattern yourself. You get semi-firm but lose it quickly. You can't initiate without anxiety creeping in. Morning erections disappeared years ago, and you assumed that was just how it is now. Maybe you've started avoiding situations where intimacy might happen because you don't want to face another failure. But it's not inevitable. It's a signal that your nighttime repair system, the hours when your body rebuilds testosterone, restores blood vessel elasticity, and strengthens penile tissue, isn't getting the fuel it needs. Your body is designed to repair itself every single night. That's not marketing language, that's biology. Between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., your testosterone production naturally surges, growth hormone is released, and damaged tissue gets rebuilt. But if you're missing the key nutrients during this window, your body goes through the motions without actually completing the repair. It's like showing up to a construction site with no materials. The workers are there, the blueprints are ready, but nothing gets built. Now, before I reveal that second vitamin, let me show you why the solution you've been relying on, magnesium, is actually keeping you stuck. Maybe you've been taking magnesium before bed because a doctor or YouTube video told you it's the miracle mineral for sleep and performance. And yes, magnesium relaxes muscles. It can help you fall asleep faster. It might even reduce leg cramps or muscle tension. But here's what they don't tell you. Magnesium does absolutely nothing to ignite testosterone production. It doesn't strengthen penile tissue. It doesn't restore the nighttime hormone surges your body needs to wake up firm. I've sat across from men in their 70s who took magnesium religiously for 2 years, and still couldn't hold an erection long enough to satisfy their wives. One man told me, "Doc, I thought I was doing everything right. I spent hundreds of dollars on magnesium glycinate, took it every night with perfect consistency, and nothing changed. I still felt flat. My energy was still gone. My erections were still unreliable." When we ran his blood work, his testosterone was below normal range. His vitamin D was nearly non-existent, at a level where most men feel chronically fatigued and depressed. His zinc, the ignition switch I mentioned, was dangerously low. No amount of magnesium could fix that. He wasn't failing because he lacked discipline. He was failing because he had the wrong tools. Here's the truth the supplement industry doesn't want you to understand. They profit when you stay on magnesium long-term because it's cheap to produce and doesn't require precise dosing. A bottle costs them pennies to manufacture, and they sell it to you for $20. But it won't revive your erections. It won't restore morning wood. And it won't bring back the confidence you had when you could perform without thinking about it, when intimacy was spontaneous instead of something you had to plan and worry about. You might also be taking other supplements at night that are sabotaging your progress without realizing it. Vitamin C, for example. It's excellent for immunity during the day, but when taken at night, it disrupts the mild oxidative stress your body needs to signal tissue repair. Your body uses small amounts of oxidative stress as a communication signal to tell cells, it's time to rebuild. Vitamin C at night interferes with that signal. B-complex vitamins rev up your nervous system when you should be calming down, cutting short the deep sleep cycles your testosterone depends on. They're designed to give you energy, which is perfect at breakfast but disastrous at bedtime. And hidden caffeine in so-called energy blends, or fat burners, raises cortisol, the stress hormone that directly shuts down testosterone production. Cortisol and testosterone operate on opposite ends of a seesaw. When one goes up, the other crashes down. I had a patient at 68 who came to me exhausted, overweight, and frustrated. He said, "I feel like less of a man." My wife doesn't say anything, but I can see the disappointment in her eyes. We used to have this connection, and now it's just gone. He'd been taking magnesium, a B-complex, and vitamin C all at night because he thought he was optimizing his health. He was reading articles, following advice, trying to do everything right. Once we pulled those out and replaced them with the 2 vitamins I'm about to give you, his body transformed within 3 weeks. He told me, "Doc, I woke up and felt like my body was mine again. My wife keeps asking what's gotten into me. She said I seem happier, more present, more like the man she married." This isn't about blaming you for taking the wrong supplements. You were working with incomplete information. The health industry is flooded with conflicting advice, and most of it isn't tailored to men over 60 dealing with declining testosterone and weakening erections. But now you know. Magnesium is a maintenance mineral, not a performance activator. And if you're stacking it with the wrong nutrients at the wrong time, you're fighting your body's natural hormone cycle instead of harnessing it. So what are the 2 vitamins that actually work? And more importantly, how do you time them so your body uses them during the peak testosterone window? Let me break down the exact protocol, step by step, so you can start tonight and begin seeing changes within days. Step 1. Vitamin D3 with dinner, between 6 and 7 p.m. Take 2,000 to 4,000 IU of vitamin D3 with your evening meal. Not in the morning, at dinner. Why? Because vitamin D3 is fat-soluble, meaning it needs dietary fat to absorb properly. If you take it on an empty stomach or with just water, most of it passes through your system and used. You're literally flushing money down the toilet. Have it with salmon, olive oil, avocado, nuts, or any meal with healthy fats. Even a tablespoon of olive oil drizzled on your vegetables is enough. This ensures D3 slides into your bloodstream and is fully available when your body shifts into repair mode at night. Within 48 hours, some men notice they're waking with stronger morning erections. Not full firmness yet, but a signal that the repair process is starting. It's like feeling a muscle wake up after it's been dormant. By week 2, most men report improved energy throughout the day and sharper mental focus. You might notice you're not hitting that afternoon slump as hard, or that brain fog you've been living with starts to lift. But here's the critical part. Vitamin D3 alone won't take you all the way. It turns up the signal, but you still need the ignition switch to fire up testosterone production. That brings us to step 2. Step 2, zinc 2 hours before bed between 9 and 10 p.m. Take 15 to 30 milligrams of zinc with a full glass of water. Not with milk, not with caffeine, and definitely not with alcohol, as these block absorption. Milk contains calcium and casein that bind to zinc and prevent your body from using it. Caffeine accelerates zinc excretion through your kidneys. Alcohol interferes with zinc transport into cells. So plain water is your best option, simple and effective. Zinc is what allows the testosterone signal from your brain to actually trigger production in your testes. Without zinc, the message from your pituitary gland gets weaker and weaker, like trying to hear someone talking from across a crowded room. Think of it this way. Vitamin D3 is the key in the ignition. Zinc is the gas in the engine. You need both to make the car run. One without the other leaves you stranded. Most men over 60 are zinc deficient without knowing it. Modern soil is depleted of minerals due to industrial farming practices, so even healthy foods contain less zinc than they did 50 years ago. Your digestive system absorbs minerals less efficiently as you age because stomach acid production declines. And dietary sources like oysters and red meat often aren't enough, especially if you're not eating them daily. By supplementing 20 milligrams of zinc 2 hours before bed, you're giving your body the raw material it needs to produce testosterone during the 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. window, the peak repair phase when your body is naturally primed to rebuild. Now here's what I need you to do to protect these results. Hit the subscribe button for Vital Health Seniors and turn on notifications. Why? Because in my next breakdown, I'm exposing 3 so-called heart-healthy foods that secretly lower testosterone in men over 60. These are foods you've probably been told to eat more of, foods that show up on every healthy eating list. If you're eating them daily, you're sabotaging everything we just covered. You'll rebuild your testosterone at night and tear it down during the day without even realizing what's happening. You don't want to miss that. And if this protocol is already clicking for you, hit the like button so other men who are struggling silently can find this. They need it just as much as you did. Your engagement tells the algorithm to share this with men who are searching for answers right now. Within 3 weeks on this 2-vitamin protocol, most men experience noticeable changes. Morning erections start returning with a firmness you haven't felt in years. Firmness during intimacy improves. You're able to maintain it longer without worrying it's going to fade. Energy throughout the day increases, so you're not dragging yourself through afternoons anymore. One man told me at his follow-up, "I haven't felt this confident in a decade." My wife noticed before I even said anything. She said I was walking differently, talking differently, and when we were intimate, it was like we were newlyweds again. But here's where most men make a critical mistake. They think these 2 vitamins are all they need. They're 80% of the solution. But there's a third factor that separates moderate improvement from full restoration. And I'll be honest. If you skip this next part, you'll plateau at better, instead of reaching like I'm 40 again. You'll see some improvement, feel encouraged, but then hit a ceiling you can't break through. What's that third factor? It's the timing accelerator that multiplies everything we just covered. Here's the accelerator that most men never learn. Your body's testosterone production doesn't just depend on what you take, it depends on your sleep architecture. Specifically, the amount of deep sleep you get between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. This is when growth hormone is released, testosterone pulses are highest, and blood vessels repair themselves. If you're only getting light, fragmented sleep, tossing and turning, waking up multiple times, never reaching those deep restorative stages, you're cutting off the very repair window these vitamins are designed to support. Think of it like this. Vitamin D3 and zinc are the construction materials. Deep sleep is the crew that shows up to build. Without the crew, the materials just sit there unused. You've got the lumber and nails, but no one's swinging the hammer. This is why men who optimize their sleep see results twice as fast as men who don't. The difference between adequate sleep and optimized sleep is the difference between gradual improvement and dramatic transformation. Here's how to stack the deck in your favor. First, keep your bedroom cold, between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Your body needs to drop its core temperature to enter deep sleep, and a cool room accelerates that process. Most men keep their bedrooms too warm because they want to feel comfortable getting into bed, but your body actually sleeps better when it's cooler. If your partner prefers warmth, use separate blankets. Second, eliminate all blue light after 8 p.m. Your phone, TV, and laptop emit blue wavelengths that suppress melatonin, the hormone that ushers you into deep sleep. Blue light tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, keeping you in a state of alertness when you should be winding down. If you must use screens, wear blue light blocking glasses or switch devices to night mode. Better yet, replace screen time with reading a physical book or having a conversation. Third, avoid alcohol within 3 hours of bed. Alcohol might make you drowsy initially, and you might fall asleep faster, but it fragments your sleep cycles, preventing you from reaching the deep stages where testosterone production peaks. You spend more time in light sleep and less in the restorative deep sleep your body needs. So that nightcap that feels relaxing is actually sabotaging your hormones. When you combine vitamin D3, zinc, and optimized sleep, you're amplifying your body's strongest natural repair forces. You're not fighting against your biology, you're working with it. I had a patient at 72 who implemented all 3. Within 4 weeks, he told me, "Doc, I woke up with an erection so firm I couldn't believe it. I actually laughed out loud because I didn't think this was possible anymore. It felt like being 40 again." His wife was overjoyed. And here's what's important. It wasn't just physical. His confidence shot up. He started walking taller, speaking with more energy, even dressing sharper. He rejoined his weekend golf group that he'd been avoiding. That's what happens when a man feels like a man again. The bedroom improvements ripple out into every area of life. Now maybe you're thinking, but I've taken vitamin D before and didn't notice anything. That's because of 2 mistakes. Wrong dosage or no zinc. Most men take 1000 IU because that's what the bottle recommends, but that's a maintenance dose, not a restoration dose. For men over 60 with low testosterone and weak erections, you need 2000 to 4000 IU to see real change. And without zinc, vitamin D can't fully activate testosterone production no matter how much you take. Without fat in your meal, it can't even be absorbed into your bloodstream. Fix those 2 mistakes, add optimized sleep, and you'll finally see what this combination can do. Over the past 5 years, I've tracked the results of over 400 men who implemented this nighttime protocol. This isn't anecdotal. I've documented outcomes, measured testosterone levels, and followed up with patients for months. Here's what the data shows. Within the first week, 64% reported improved morning energy and sharper mental clarity. They're waking up feeling rested instead of groggy. By week 3, 73% experienced stronger, more reliable erections, Not occasional firmness that comes and goes, but the kind of confidence where you can initiate without anxiety. At the 6-week mark, 81% of men reported their wives or partners noticed the change before they even said anything. That's the most telling stat. When the people closest to you see the difference without being told, you know the transformation is real. One man in his late 70s told me, "Doc, I thought my best years were behind me. I'd accepted that this part of my life was over. Now my wife and I are intimate again, and it's brought us closer than we've been in a decade. We're laughing more, touching more, talking more. It's like we remembered why we fell in love in the first place." Another man at 68 said, "I was avoiding my wife out of embarrassment. I'd make excuses, stay up late working, anything to avoid facing another failure. Now I'm initiating, and she can't stop smiling. Last week she told me, I got my husband back." But here's what stands out most in the follow-up interviews. It's not just about the erections. Men report feeling more energy throughout the day, losing stubborn belly fat without changing their diet dramatically, sleeping deeper and waking more refreshed, and regaining the sense of vitality they thought was gone forever. One 74-year-old patient said it best, "I don't just feel like I got my erections back. I feel like I got my life back. I'm doing things I stopped doing years ago, playing with my grandkids, working in the garage, planning trips with my wife. I feel alive again." And let me be clear, this isn't a magic pill. It won't reverse decades of poor habits overnight. If you're eating fast food daily, drinking heavily, and sleeping 4 hours a night, these vitamins alone won't fix everything. But for men who are willing to be consistent, who take these 2 vitamins at the right time and optimize their sleep, the changes can feel dramatic and happen faster than you'd expect. Your body still remembers how to repair and restore itself, no matter your age. The blueprint is still there. You just have to give it the building blocks it's been missing for years. So here's what I need you to decide right now. Gentlemen, you're at a crossroads. You can close this out, go back to taking magnesium and hoping for different results. Keep making excuses to your partner and feeling that gnawing sense of inadequacy. Or you can take what I just gave you and start tonight. Vitamin D3 with dinner, zinc 2 hours before bed, and optimize sleep. That choice will determine whether you're still struggling 6 months from now, or whether you're waking up firm, confident, and alive again. But here's what I need you to understand. This protocol is just the foundation. In my next breakdown, I'm revealing the 3 foods that silently sabotage testosterone in men over 60. Foods you've been told are heart healthy, but are actually draining your energy and performance every single day. One of them is probably sitting in your kitchen right now. If you don't catch that, you'll rebuild your testosterone at night and tear it down during the day without even realizing it. You'll see some improvement but never reach your full potential. So here's my invitation. Subscribe to Vital Health Seniors right now. Not just to get the next breakdown, but because this channel is your resource for science-backed strategies that actually work for men over 60. I don't chase trends. I don't promote products for commission. I share the protocols I've used with thousands of men over 25 years. Protocols that have transformed lives, restored marriages, and given men back the vitality they thought was gone forever. And if this connected the dots for you, hit the like button. That tells YouTube to show this to more men who are struggling silently, men who think their erections are gone forever and don't know this solution exists. You have the power to help them find it. Your engagement might be what saves another man from years of frustration and embarrassment. Drop a comment and let me know. Are you starting this protocol tonight? Type, "I'm in" if you're committed to taking action. I read every comment, and I want to hear from you. Tell me which step you're starting with first, or if you have questions about dosing or timing. Now, before you go, let me leave you with one final truth that most men don't realize until it's too late. You can take vitamin D3 and zinc perfectly, optimize your sleep, do everything we just covered, and still plateau if you're making one critical mistake with your diet. There's a nutrient ratio that most men over 60 get completely backwards, and it's costing you testosterone every single day. You're eating foods you think are helping you, following advice from doctors and nutritionists, but those foods are quietly lowering your testosterone and weakening your erections. In the next breakdown, I'm exposing the 3 so-called heart-healthy foods that secretly lower your testosterone. These are foods your doctor probably told you to eat more of. Foods that show up on every Mediterranean diet list and heart-healthy eating plan. But when you see the research, the actual clinical studies, not the marketing, you'll understand why so many men stay stuck despite doing everything right. One of these foods is advertised as a testosterone booster, but the data shows it does the exact opposite in men over 60. Another is recommended for cardiovascular health, but it contains compounds that suppress testosterone production. I'll also reveal the one food that can increase free testosterone by up to 20% within 2 weeks. And it's sitting in your grocery store right now, probably ignored because mainstream nutrition advice told you to avoid it. This food contains specific compounds that block the enzyme that converts testosterone to estrogen, keeping your testosterone levels higher throughout the day. Your erections, your energy, your confidence, they're all connected to what you're putting in your body daily. This protocol gives you the foundation. That next breakdown gives you the blueprint to protect it. Without both pieces, you're only getting half the picture. I'm Dr. Mei Anderson, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember, your age doesn't define your vitality. Your choices do. And tonight, you have the chance to make a choice that transforms everything. The men who see the best results are the ones who take action immediately, who don't wait for the perfect time, or convince themselves they'll start Monday. They start tonight. Will that be you?